Welcome back to the Metaphysics podcast for episode 10 of our Manifesting Money series.
Oh, it's great to be back.
Today we're diving into this fascinating concept, action versus inaction, finding the right balance in the teachings of Abraham Hicks.
Absolutely.
Over the past 9 episodes, we've been on quite a journey together, haven't we?
We have.
We've talked about overcoming those pesky doubts.
Yeah.
Breaking free from that scarcity mindset.
Uh-huh.
Understanding how our emotions play a role.
Yes.
And really grasping that we live in a vibrational reality.
Right?
But now, a burning question might be popping up for you. How do we actually make things happen?
Yeah.
Do we just sit back, relax, and let the universe do its thing?
Right.
Or do we need to hustle and grind our way to financial abundance?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And it's something that Abraham Hicks addresses beautifully.
Okay.
The truth is, it's not about choosing one or the other. It's about finding that sweet spot, that delicate dance between inspired action and allowing the universe to orchestrate the details.
Okay. I'm already intrigued. So it's not about being passive, but it's also not about forcing things to happen.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a ship setting sail for a treasure island. You've got your map, you've set your course, and you're excited to discover those riches. Now, you wouldn't just sit on the deck and expect the ship to magically transport you there.
Definitely not.
Sure.
You'd need to hoist the sails, adjust the rudder, and navigate through the water.
Precisely. But you also wouldn't try to row the ship single-handedly against the current.
Right.
That would be exhausting, frustrating, and likely to get you nowhere fast.
That makes sense. So are you saying we need to find the wind in our sails, that momentum that propels us forward?
Exactly. And that wind is the energy of the universe, that flow of abundance that's always available to us. When we align ourselves with that flow, with that feeling of excitement and trust, inspired action arises naturally.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture. So it's not about blindly following some rigid action plan.
Not at all. It's
Uh-huh.
about being open to receiving guidance from the universe.
Okay.
Those intuitive nudges and inspired ideas that seem to come out of nowhere.
So how do we actually know when an action is inspired? Is there a secret code we need to crack?
Not exactly a secret code, but there are definitely some telltale signs. Inspired action feels expansive, exciting, aligned with your soul's purpose. It might even feel a bit scary, but it's a good kind of scary, like you're stepping outside your comfort zone in a way that feels exhilarating.
Okay, I get that. So it's not about forcing ourselves to do things that feel uncomfortable or draining.
Exactly. Inspired action feels like you're being pulled forward by an invisible force, like you're surfing the waves of abundance.
So on the flip side, what does action driven by fear or desperation look and feel like?
It feels constricted, heavy, like you're pushing a boulder uphill. It's that feeling of, I have to do this, or I'm not good enough unless I achieve this.
So if you're feeling that kind of pressure, it's a sign to pause,
Hmm.
take a step back, and reconnect with your inner guidance.
Precisely. Ask yourself, what would feel good to do right now? What action step, even a small one, feels aligned with my highest self?
That makes so much sense.
Yeah,
So even small inspired actions can create a ripple effect, leading to bigger and better things.
absolutely. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't see the results immediately. But if you nurture that seed with love and attention, it will eventually blossom into something beautiful.
And the same goes for our financial goals. We need to nurture them with positive energy and inspired action,
Right.
not force them to grow before they're ready.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing is, the universe is always conspiring to help us manifest our desires. We just need to get out of our own way and allow the magic to happen.
This is starting to click for me. It's not about striving or forcing. It's
Mhm.
about aligning with the flow of abundance
Mhm.
and trusting that the universe has our back.
Precisely. And that trust is key. When we trust that the universe is working in our favor, we open ourselves to receiving guidance, support, and opportunities that we could never have imagined.
So how can our listeners start to cultivate more trust in this process? Because I think that's a muscle that needs to be developed over time.
One powerful way is through gratitude. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we raise our vibration and open ourselves to receiving more good things.
So it's about shifting our attention from what we lack to what we already have.
Exactly. And the more we appreciate what we have, the more abundance we attract into our lives.
Because we're essentially telling the universe, hey, I'm open to receiving more of this good stuff.
Precisely. Another powerful technique is visualization. When we vividly imagine ourselves living our dream life, feeling the emotions as if it were already real, we send a powerful signal to the universe.
And that signal helps to align us with the vibration of our desires.
Exactly. And the more we practice visualization, the more we embody the feeling of having what we want, which makes it easier for it to manifest in our physical reality.
So are you saying that if we could just feel rich, we'll actually become rich?
It's not quite that simple, but it's definitely a key piece of the puzzle. Remember, the universe responds to our vibration. So the more we can embody the feeling of abundance, the more we attract opportunities that align with that vibration.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not about faking it till you make it. It's about genuinely cultivating the feeling of abundance from within.
Exactly. And the more we focus on feeling good, on appreciating what we have, on visualizing our desired outcomes, the more we align ourselves with the flow of abundance.
This is all starting to make a lot of sense. But I'm sure some of our listeners are wondering, what about those times when we're feeling stuck or confused? What if we're not sure what action to take?
In those moments, it's crucial to pause, go within, and connect with your inner guidance. We can meditate, journal, spend time in nature, or simply ask for clarity.
Because the answers are always within us. We just need to create space to hear them.
Exactly. And remember, it's okay to not have all the answers. Sometimes the best action is to simply be patient and trust that the guidance will come.
That's a really comforting thought.
Yeah.
So we don't have to have it all figured out to start moving towards our financial goals.
Not at all. The journey of manifesting abundance is about taking inspired action steps as they arise, trusting our intuition, and allowing the universe to orchestrate the details.
This is such a powerful message. So for our listeners who are ready to start taking inspired action but are feeling a bit hesitant or unsure, what advice would you give them?
I would say start small.
Okay.
Take one inspired action step today, even if it's something simple like reaching out to someone you admire, signing up for a course, or spending 10 minutes visualizing your dream life.
And as you take that step, pay attention to how it feels. Does it feel expansive,
Right.
exciting, aligned with your purpose?
Because if it does, you're on the right track, and the universe will support you every step of the way.
This has been incredibly insightful, and I'm sure our listeners are feeling inspired to start taking action. But before we wrap up, I'd love to hear some real-life examples of people who have successfully manifested financial abundance using these principles.
Absolutely. There are countless stories of people who have transformed their financial lives by aligning with the flow of abundance and taking inspired action.
For example,
One woman I know was struggling to make ends meet, working a job she hated and feeling completely stuck. But then she started applying the principles of gratitude, visualization, and inspired action. She began each day by expressing gratitude for what she had, even if it was just a roof over her head and food on the table.
and she visualized herself living a life of abundance, feeling the emotions as if it were already real.
Exactly. And as she shifted her energy, she started to notice inspired ideas and opportunities popping up. She felt drawn to start her own business, and even though it felt scary, she took the leap of faith.
And what happened?
Her business took off. She was able to quit her job, work from home, and create a life of freedom and abundance, all because she aligned with the flow of the universe and took inspired action.
Wow, that's an incredible story. And it shows that anyone can manifest financial abundance no matter where they're starting from.
Exactly. The key is to believe it's possible and to take those inspired action steps that feel aligned with your soul's purpose.
This has been such an empowering conversation, and I'm sure our listeners are feeling inspired to start taking action. But before we dive into part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll explore even more practical tips and techniques for manifesting financial abundance, I want to remind everyone to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts and insights.
We love hearing from you and learning how these principles are impacting your lives.
And don't forget to share this episode with anyone who might benefit from these powerful teachings.
Until next time, keep shining your light and manifesting your dreams.
We'll see you soon on the Metaphysics podcast for part 2 of Action versus Inaction.
Welcome back to the Metaphysics podcast. We're diving right back into our exploration of action versus inaction.
It's amazing how much we've unpacked already, but I'm ready for more.
Well, let's talk about something crucial for bringing those treasure maps to life: setting clear financial goals.
This is where things start to feel real, right?
Yeah.
Turning those dreams into tangible targets.
Exactly. Think of it like this. If you were planning a trip, you wouldn't just say, I want to go somewhere warm. You'd pick a specific destination.
Right, you'd research the beaches, maybe browse some photos, get a feel for the place.
That's exactly how we need to approach our financial goals. It's not enough to just say, I want to be rich.
So how do we get crystal clear on those financial goals? What questions should we be asking ourselves?
First, get specific about the amount you desire. Not just a vague, a lot of money, but an actual number that resonates with you. Then, think about the time frame. When do you envision yourself achieving this goal? Finally, and this is crucial, consider what this money will enable you to do. How will it change your life? What experiences or opportunities will it unlock?
It's about painting a vivid picture of that abundant life, isn't it?
Precisely. It's about connecting with the feeling of having already achieved that goal. And that brings us back to the power of visualization.
We touched on this earlier, but I'm eager to dive deeper.
Visualization is more than just daydreaming. It's about creating a multisensory experience in your mind. Imagine yourself living that abundant life. See it, feel it, hear the sounds, even smell the sense of your surroundings.
So it's about engaging all our senses to really embody that reality.
Exactly. And don't hold back on the emotions either. Allow yourself to feel the joy, the freedom, the gratitude as if it's already happening.
This sounds incredibly powerful. But what if doubt creeps in? What if we struggle to believe that it's actually possible?
Doubt is a natural part of the process, but we don't have to let it control us. One technique I find helpful is to acknowledge those doubts, thank them for their input, and then gently redirect my focus back to the positive. Remind yourself of past successes, times when you achieved something you thought was impossible.
That's a great tip. It's about focusing on our ability to create rather than getting bogged down by fear.
Exactly. And remember, every time you choose faith over fear, you strengthen that trust muscle.
It's like we're training our minds to believe in the power of abundance.
And speaking of training our minds, let's talk about the role of affirmations.
Yes. Those positive statements we repeat to ourselves.
Affirmations are more than just feel-good phrases. They're powerful tools for reprogramming our subconscious mind.
So how do they actually work?
Our subconscious mind is like a fertile garden. Whatever seeds we plant there will eventually grow. If we're constantly feeding it negative thoughts and limiting beliefs, guess what? That's what will flourish.
We'll attract more negativity and scarcity into our lives.
Precisely. But when we use affirmations, we're planting seeds of abundance, worthiness, and prosperity.
So it's about consciously choosing the thoughts we want to cultivate.
Exactly. By repeating affirmations regularly, we're essentially telling our subconscious mind what we believe to be true. And over time, those beliefs start to take root and influence our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
This makes so much sense. It's like we're rewiring our brains for abundance.
And the more we practice, the more natural and effortless it becomes.
So can you share some examples of powerful affirmations for manifesting financial abundance?
Of course, one of my favorites is, I am a magnet for money. Wealth flows to me easily and effortlessly.
That's a great one. It really captures that sense of abundance and ease.
Another powerful affirmation is, I am worthy of receiving all the good that the universe has to offer.
That one resonates deeply with me. It's about acknowledging our inherent worthiness to receive abundance.
Exactly. And we can also create affirmations that are specific to our individual goals. For example, if someone is aiming to attract a high-paying job, they might affirm, I'm now attracting the perfect job that aligns with my skills and passions and pays me generously.
So it's about tailoring those affirmations to our unique desires.
Precisely. The key is to choose affirmations that feel good and that resonate with your soul.
Welcome back to the Metaphysics Podcast. We've covered so much ground in our deep dive into action versus inaction. I'm excited to see where we land this plane.
Well, let's bring it all together and talk about how we can truly integrate these principles into our daily lives to make those financial dreams a reality.
Perfect, because at the end of the day, we want tangible results, right?
Absolutely. And it all starts with awareness. Becoming aware of those thoughts, feelings, and actions that might be holding us back.
So taking a step back and looking at our current financial reality with fresh eyes.
Exactly. Are we constantly focusing on lack and scarcity? Are we replaying those old money stories that no longer serve us?
Because if we're stuck in those negative patterns, it's hard to create a new reality, isn't it?
It's like trying to drive a car while looking in the rearview mirror. We need to shift our focus to what we want to create, not what we're trying to leave behind.
So how do we actually make that shift?
It starts with gratitude. Even if our current financial situation isn't ideal, there's always something to be grateful for.
A roof over our heads, food on the table, the support of loved ones.
Exactly. And as we cultivate that gratitude, we start to shift our vibration, attracting more abundance into our lives.
It's like we're sending a signal to the universe that we're ready to receive.
And then comes the power of visualization. This is where we get to play with those treasure maps we created earlier.
So taking those specific financial goals and really bringing them to life in our minds.
Exactly. See yourself living that abundant life. Feel the emotions. Engage all your senses.
It's about creating a visceral experience, isn't it?
Precisely. And as we do that, we align ourselves with the frequency of our desires, making it easier for them to manifest in our physical reality.
This is where the magic really starts to happen, right?
Absolutely. But it's important to remember that manifestation is a co-creation process. We're not just passively waiting for the universe to deliver.
We have a role to play, don't we?
Exactly. And that's where inspired action comes in. It's about listening to our intuition, those nudges and whispers of guidance that lead us towards our goals.
So paying attention to those ideas that spark excitement and feel aligned with our purpose.
Precisely. Those are the breadcrumbs leading us to our treasure.
But what if we're feeling stuck or unsure about which path to take?
In those moments, it's important to trust that the universe has our back. We can ask for guidance, meditate, or simply take a step back and allow the answers to come to us.
It's about surrendering control, isn't it?
Exactly. And that surrender can be challenging, especially for those of us who like to be in charge.
But when we let go and trust in the process, amazing things can happen.
Absolutely. It's like we're allowing the universe to take the wheel and navigate us towards our destination.
This all sounds so empowering. But I'm sure some of our listeners are wondering, what about those times when things don't go according to plan? What if we encounter obstacles or setbacks?
Those challenges are inevitable. They're part of the journey.
So how do we navigate those bumps in the road without losing faith?
It's about reframing those setbacks as opportunities for growth, to ask ourselves, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this challenge to become even stronger and more resilient?
It's about turning those lemons into lemonade.
Exactly. And remember, the universe always has our back, even when it doesn't feel like it. There's a bigger plan unfolding, even if we can't see it yet.
That's a powerful reminder. So how can our listeners stay motivated and inspired on this journey of manifesting financial abundance? Because it's not always easy, is it?
It's important to celebrate our wins, no matter how small. Acknowledge each step forward, each milestone reached.
Because those victories fuel our momentum, don't they?
Absolutely. And it's also crucial to surround ourselves with positive influences, people who believe in us, who support our dreams, and who remind us of our limitless potential.
Their energy can be incredibly uplifting and inspiring.
And finally, never underestimate the power of self-belief, to trust in ourselves and our ability to create the life we desire.
Because when we believe in ourselves, anything is possible.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. Manifesting financial abundance is not just about the money. It's about creating a life that feels aligned, purposeful, and fulfilling.
It's about aligning with our soul's mission and using our resources to make a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. And when we approach abundance from that perspective, the possibilities are truly limitless.
This has been such an incredible journey. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and insights with us.
It's been my pleasure.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us on this deep dive into action versus inaction, finding the right balance, as part of our Manifesting Money series. We hope you've gained valuable tools and inspiration to manifest your financial dreams, and we'll see you next time on the Metaphysics Podcast.